welcome to another episode of Death By, where contestants will earn reps for their arguments for a chance to stand on top of the podium pedestal. I am your host, Lauren Kalil. Whoever I decide has the best argument through the final round will earn 30 seconds to talk about a topic of their choosing. On today's episode, we have two-time Affiliate Cup champion and seminar staff head trainer James Hobart, CrossFit Games reporter Niki Braizer with kettlebells and cocktails, and CrossFit Games athlete and two-time dad, Tim Paulson.
Almost as impressive as two-time Affiliate Cup champ.
Almost. Almost. It's inching up really close to James's status right now.
So I should get free points.
That's it. Maybe. You might start ahead before the show even starts, but just quickly, let's go around. How did 24.1 go for everybody? I got to know.
I thought it was great.
I made mistakes for sure. My buddies I goaded myself into like, you should come out like you were as fit as you were 6 months ago and see what happens. And I found out real hard in the round of 15s that like I lost some feeling in my fingers. I thought I was gonna poop. Like I came out way too hot and absolutely almost lost my cookies. It was fun. Like it was a good fitness test, but man, I was the sad panda.
Dang. That's a nervous system overload. That's what that is. Like your body was 100%. Just like, actually, we're gonna shut down right now.
That is exactly what happened.
Niki, you're getting ready to deliver your second child. So I assume that you had some modifications for the workout.
Just a few. Yeah. I love the addition of the foundations division just for people who are new or people who are in scenarios like me or my husband, who's also currently recovering from abdominal surgery. So it was like the perfect way for us to still, like, we both still registered for the open. Like we both still knew we were going to participate. And we just knew that we had a lot of leeway and modification options. So I still use a 35-pound dumbbell, but I was doing hang snatches because it's hard for me to touch my toes at the moment. And I was doing burpees off of a bench and stepping over the dumbbell. So it was perfect. And it was still really hard, really shitty. But it's the kind of workout where I was like, okay, I obviously know that I'm working out at a partial portion of my capacity. And I'm excited to someday have it like as a benchmark now. Like I have my open score, I can go back and look at it. And someday when I've regained some of my fitness and my capabilities, I'll try again and see how it goes in comparison.
And James, still as fit as you have been over the last 10, 12, whatever years, however long you've been doing this?
150 years.
Not even close. Not even, every workout is a reminder of that. But I did do it 3 times. So I'm just as stupid as I've ever been.
Why? With how much time in between?
I did it Friday, Saturday, Monday.
Okay.
No, excuse me. I did
what
it
was
Friday,
your best
Sunday,
time?
Monday.
Like which one was your best time?
My final one on Monday.
Of course.
Okay.
You learned the
so
most.
It was worth it.
Yeah. I am definitely not as fit as I used to be. I don't know. I'm also of the mind, like, I like redoing workouts. And I think if you have it in you to do it, like, you just should. And I'm also a shitty
That was going to be
sprinter.
the podium thing that I was going to talk about if I happen to win this
I'll
week.
be quiet.
So
let's
not go there yet.
Okay.
I mean, it's just a little bit of hubris. You think you're going to win and talk about that, but I'll shut up.
I just had to have a topic ready because like the one time I ever won, I've won this show like 1 or 2 times total ever. And like one time I got to the end and I was like, I don't have a topic. I'm so sorry. I had to think of something just in case.
All right, we will get into the show. If we have time at the end, we can get more into the open and all of those things. But let's get into topic 1, a few things before we get back into the open. Mel O'Brien, she recently announced that she will not compete in the 2024 season after removing herself from the 2023 season post quarterfinals. Haley Adams also sat out last season, but has chosen to return this season. Then just last week, another former teen athlete, Emma Carey, has also chosen to sit out this season. While all situations, we want to remember that they are different and personal to each individual. This kind of raises the question and the topic, I think, of should we rethink how the teen division in CrossFit and even the CrossFit Games for the teens is structured? James Hobart, we will start topic 1 with you.
Oh man, I'm so unprepared for this question. Should we rethink the teen CrossFit Games? Not yet. And that's not to discredit the experiences they've had. I just think they're also just young kids. Like, how many of us knew what the heck we were going to do at that age? Also, how many of us had to deal with that much pressure? But I think if you're young and you want to get involved in a sport that is a professional sport, I don't want to discourage kids from doing that. But obviously, they need a lot more than just a whole lot of fitness, right? There's other elements that go in there in terms of support. It's not something I've dealt with personally. I've also never competed, at the level that an Emma Carey or Haley Adams or Mal have that they competed at. So I don't think I ever had like the level of individual pressure that they had. So I can't really speak to that. I don't think we should make any changes yet, but I think as a community, we should respect the fact that, yeah, they are like as fit as they look, and the fact that they're fitter than pretty much everybody older than them, some people old enough to be their parents. We should give them a little bit of grace and say like, hey, look, they are still kids, right? And they're taking on a lot, not just the pressure of competing, but now the pressure of fans, social media, and competing. Tim will tell you, is a bear. There really doesn't feel like there is an off season. And they probably need a lot of support. So I don't think we should make any changes yet. But as a community, we should probably pay attention to like, what is it, really try and think about what is it like to be somebody in that position, and not lose our minds when they decide to take some time off. What was I doing when I was 17? No one even cares. Wow. And it was probably,
not good things.
Not good. Not good. Not good things. No.
2 points for James. Tim, yeah, you have good perspective as an athlete, not a teen athlete, but what are your thoughts around this?
Yeah, I mean, I coach a teen athlete right now as well, who's got some games aspirations in the 14-15 category. I mean, I think honestly, what the PFAA is doing, I don't know if you guys saw, they're doing essentially like a mentorship program in partnership with the Pit, and I submitted myself as a, if they'll have me, I'd love to, because I think a lot of it comes down to just like youth sports are kind of, they're still youth sports. Like you're still developing as a person at that point. I mean, when you're 14, 15, 16, 17, like having some good role models and some good coaches is incredibly profound, and it can help you use sports the way that we should use them, which is like as a learning tool about ourselves and how to work hard and how to be disciplined. Like there's just a lot of benefit that comes from just training and doing a sport. And I think I never played individual sports growing up. I always played team sports. I always played hockey. So I always had friends around me. I had a coach who was in charge of the whole team, an assistant coach. Whereas like, I feel like in CrossFit, you might not get that. And like a lot of these teen athletes, if they do have a coach, I'm not discrediting any teen coaches, but like how comfortable are they working with teen athletes and working with kids and just kind of knowing what it's like to, I don't know, at that phase in your life, I feel like your job as a coach is more just to like help them learn who they are as a person and help them figure out life lessons that can come through sport. It's not all about the sport itself and achieving success in the sport. It's about kind of who you become throughout the process of it. So yeah, I don't think we have to change anything about the games, but maybe just kind of change the environment in which those kids are competing and some of the resources they might have access to, so that it doesn't feel so isolating and it doesn't feel so overwhelming that you're doing this individual sport by yourself in the gym all the time. Because if they have a great parental support network, they might have that, but if not, I mean, who kind of knows?
3 points for Tim. Niki, you're up.
Yeah, I agree with the guys. I don't necessarily think that we need to change anything about the structure of the season or about how we do the teen games. I think that a lot of what we're hearing is the pressure from society that these young teen athletes have, especially the young girls. And I think that there's a lot more that we can do as a community to recognize the difficulty that these kids face day in and day out when they have no choice but to take advantage of the things that we have, like social media and like the internet, in order to continue to gain success, popularity, and try to turn this into a career, right? That's one of the ways you make money is you get sponsors, you get your name out there, or whatever. But the way that social media is absolutely like crumbling their self-worth, and they're out there every day dealing with people talking about how they look and what their bodies look like and what they can do, and it is just, we can't even understand like the level of difficulty and shittiness that brings about. Like, our followings are minuscule in comparison to some of these younger teen athletes, especially some of the girls. And I can tell you, when I get like a nasty comment thrown at me, it like digs for a minute. I'm like, oh shit, really? Like that sucks. Times a million, and you're only a teenager. Like it is just, I do think that as a community, there's more that we can do to help protect the narrative around what is appropriate to say to these young girls as they're becoming women. And I think that that is a lot to do with what these guys said too. Like, they have to be surrounded with good coaches. They have to, like, the community needs to step in. I do think we should have, and I've said this before on the show, like, we need to have people monitoring, like, the live stream feed when these kids are up there. Like, it's just, actually, when anyone is up there, because I think the mental health of all athletes is pretty important, but it's just really difficult to understand what they're going through, because we can't even say, like, what was I doing at 16? Because the world is so different than when we were 16, and we are not even that old
We're
yet.
old.
Okay,
we're old.
We are old. We are old. You're totally right. But the world is such a completely different place that it's like, it's short-sighted to be like, well, when I was a teen, I could whatever. And it's like, no, the world is so completely nuts now that it's really difficult to raise kids in this environment.
3 points for Niki. I think you guys all make really good points, and it drives me back to the question then, maybe we don't live stream the teen games. Maybe we don't hype it up with all of this sports coverage and content around them. And I'm not necessarily saying that's what I think, but would that in fact make there be less pressure? And maybe you have to be a certain age, maybe you have to be in the elite division before you get sponsorship deals, just ways to allow these teen athletes to more naturally progress in the sport.
Maybe there are pros and cons to both sides of that argument.
Mm-hmm.
There really are. How difficult for them to continue doing this sport that is expensive, that is costly in both time and mental capacity and money, without offering some kind of support from brands and sponsorship deals. And that comes with exposure. I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting. I wonder how much of the pressure, what's the word, exponentially increased in the elite division. It's like,
Mhm.
yeah, I don't know if I would jump to like not exposing or like them via social media or covering the games or their events. I don't know if that's what I would jump to. I'm also not a parent, right? So there's like so much of this I can weigh in on. And I look at some of the kids, and one of the things I think about is like, I didn't have a job where I worked 40 plus hours a week at 17. Maybe I did, but I think about what it took for me to compete at the highest levels of CrossFit. And at that age, if I was putting in that same work ethic and effort, like that is also a huge thing to think about. But I don't know if the answer right now is to just say, hey, let's stop covering their successes and their wins.
Right.
I didn't even know they're doing the mentoring. Like the mentoring is like a great step. I think those, I hate this word, more holistic approaches are probably better places to start. Like, how does the community support each other from within?
Yeah, I think I agree with James, and the mentorship is great because, again, I think a lot of it's just like, like expectations can be the death of joy. Like if they come out of the teen division and we're like, oh, all these kids should make the games when they're 18 now, it's like that's not how it works. Like there's outliers there that can do it, but like that's not the way that it's normally going to work. So whether it's like setting them up for the expectations of like, hey, when you come out of the 17 division, don't expect to make the games till you're 20, 22. Like you've got a long trajectory here. Don't put a lot of pressure on yourself. If it happens, it happens. But again, I think it's just like the mentorship side of it, setting expectations for them and for the community to not like, I think athletes know that the leap from team to individual is huge. But I don't know if like people who've done it, that is like athletes who've done it or people who've been in the sport long enough, like we would know, but fans wouldn't know. Even teen athletes might not know that like it's a very different ball game when you're talking about going from being a 17-year-old against 17-year-olds to all of a sudden competing against like grown ass men and women. Like
Very different.
Yeah, and the commentary on it is different too. I do wish as a community that we were a little bit more protective of these people. And I fully understand the argument also that they're like, when people say like these are professional athletes, like they are putting themselves out there and they should be able to take some criticism on their performance or whatever it may be. And I do agree with that, but I do think that a lot of the criticism that's flung around at them is shallow, and it can really just contribute to them not being able to like create a safe space in the sport that they can thrive in the future.
Yeah. It's a great conversation, a lot of different ideas. I do think that Pitt is doing a great job with the PFAA, the mentorship program, trying to put resources out there for the teens. Just a topic that I think we'll continue to have as we see the sport grow because it is still very, very young. Moving now into topic number 2, we're going to focus back to the CrossFit Open 24.1. It's in the books. And as we look ahead to this week's announcement, we will watch Justin Medeiros and Colton Mertens face off in Justin's home garage. But maybe even more notable than these two athletes facing off, WWE World Heavyweight Champion Seth Rollins, he will be filling in for Dave Castro, giving the workout announcement. Tim Paulson, what are your thoughts on this? You wanted to talk about this week.
I mean, it's so good. It's like, I forget if this was on air or off air last time we did an episode, but like looping in the bigger names that do CrossFit and that like love this methodology and they believe in it and think it's it's a great way to live your life. Like bring them in and help them spread the word. Like Schmidt is the next guy that I would like. I want to see Schmidt for 23 or 24.3. Like
I'll cry.
I love New Girl so much. It's so good. I know it's awesome. But yeah, I mean, again, I think it's like it takes a little bit of, it still brings in that heel, like whatever, like, like that kind of like person who can be the big bad guy announcing the workout, and it makes it fun, gets your energy going. And again, it's like a new person who some people like, again, he's a superstar outside of the sport, like outside of CrossFit. So I think him sharing the good graces and being a part of this kind of mass participatory event, like it couldn't be better. Like, and again, there are plenty more people that would, I think, be interested in doing this who love CrossFit. We may just need to find them. And yeah, just publicly kind of throwing their support behind the brand. I think it's a great thing.
4 points for Tim. Niki, excited to see Seth?
I'm stoked on it. I have seen him and met him a couple times, like behind the scenes at big CrossFit events. Like he's sometimes like stalking around at the games back in the day. He would be in Carson, and it's so cool to see someone so big and so famous really taking a part in something that makes our community so happy. And I'm with Tim. I think the more people we can get outside of just our tiny niche community to step up and say like, hey, I do this. Hey, it helps me in my life. Hey, it helps me in my career. Like the greater we can get viewership and the more people we can get to step into the affiliate. Like that's just it. It's like the more people who see it, the more people who see folks other than the crazy people who are like, make fun of us for being a cult, who are like, oh man, you got to come to my gym. Like if they see someone famous really stepping behind the methodology, then maybe that'll convince them to give it a try. And my vote is for OG Blippy. OG Blippy is a CrossFitter. The first one, not the new one. The first one. I bet Sean in the back is like, yeah, that's right. I think we should get him in because that opens up a whole new can of worms. Let's do it. I saw one time Matt, I was not watching, but Matt was watching an episode where he was like showing kids how to do double unders. And I was like, that dude's got to CrossFit. He has got to CrossFit.
Oh,
sure.
That's amazing. Expose it to the masses.
It was actually funny. I remember watching again, Wes, it comes and goes and starts, but he'll like watch it sometimes. I remember looking at one, I'm like, you know what? Blippy moves pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just look at him like he was doing push-ups like during an episode, and I was like, oh, like those are good looking push-ups, like full range of motion, like respect. And yeah, like the more I see him move around, I'm like, all right, he definitely like Blippy works out.
He does something.
Sure. Yeah. Oh, there you go. We just got a tip. He was in the Air Force. All right.
Okay. Original Blippy? OG Blippy was in the Air Force?
Yep.
Why don't I know who Blippy is?
Because you don't have kids yet.
Because you don't have kids. Yeah.
I have
He's like who's the guy from Blue's Clues who totally who lost it?
Oh,
like that guy?
Well, yeah, I think something happened with him that wasn't great. So,
Blippy. All right. Well, I'm going to be watching Blippy this afternoon.
James, I would avoid it as long as humanly possible. Okay. I would.
Google Blippy excavator song and just dial in.
I listened to this one kid's song called the Hamburger song the other day, and it just goes like hamburger. It's rough. I'll send it to you guys.
This is my favorite show on the internet.
This is going just how I always dreamt it would.
Perfect.
James Seth Rollins, he's the new Dave Castro, week 2. What do you think, baby?
Seth freaking Rollins. I mean, I don't have anything to say about this other than the fact I've met Seth a couple times, competed against his affiliate team in the past. Man, if he doesn't clothesline Justin and give Colton the pedigree, I'm like, just gets on there. I hope he cuts a promo. I just hope it's wild. I know he has like a lot of love for CrossFit. I want to see like full blown just WWE character wildness. I'm really excited, but I'm also a nerd with that kind of stuff. I don't know if everyone else wants to bring that element into it. Boz and I always used to talk about CrossFit like needs a heel character, and I think it's fun to sprinkle some of that that WWE theatric onto it. So I don't know. I don't have a lot to say. I'm just excited and giddy for it. That's it. There we go. That's all
That's it. There we go.
I got
We'll
nothing.
still give you 2
Don't even
points.
give me a point there. Like I said, Seth just gives Justin the stomp, and I'll just check out the rest of the season. It's all good for me.
I want to see them throw down.
Oh, man.
Like I want to. That is what needs to be injected since Seth Rollins is going to be there.
Yeah.
Add some WWE.
I think you can totally I think you can totally be excited about this without nerding out on it too much. Like what James was saying. Like, I don't think you need to be like a big wrestling fan to be like, this is fucking cool. Like, that's obviously a really big famous person who's important to a lot of people. Like, if Schmidt comes on, but you've never seen the show, you'd still be like, this is cool. So I think like you don't have to necessarily even need to go down that path, even though it would be really fun to watch him throw down. I want to watch him do the workout too. He should jump in.
Yeah,
I know. I kind of want him to do it too.
Those guys are athletes for sure.
Yeah.
I do want to nerd out, and I want it to go crazy. So my fingers are crossed.
We can't wait to see that. And speaking of week number 2, the CrossFit Open, topic number 3, what are your 24.2 predictions? Niki, you're up first.
Ooh, okay. I was halfway right, by the way, when I was doing predictions for 24.1. So just not saying I'm clairvoyant, but my vote this week is heavy barbell, maybe like a squat movement with it. Can I be general like that? Or do I have to say like squat cleans, 21:59? I'm just going to say heavy barbell with a squat somehow. And I think it's going to be paired with a cardio movement like a double under or like calories on the bike. That's my guess.
Squat cleans and double unders. I would be here for that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. 2 points for Niki. James, what do you feel is coming?
Should I tell you the real workout and just pass it off as a guess?
Oh, I hate you.
I actually don't know. I actually don't know.
No.
Really,
See,
really,
we can never believe you on this show because you say you don't know, but you do know.
You do know.
I absolutely
He
don't.
always knows.
The Open, I don't at all. And the Open is sort of like my CrossFit Christmas, so it's fun not to know. But if I had to guess, I think we're going to see a double under and a wall ball and probably a third or fourth movement. That's my guess. Triplet, double under, wall ball, toe to bar.
Row.
Oh, there you go.
That's really funny, James, because that was my prediction that I was talking about in the gym the other day.
Ooh.
And I feel like you say you don't have intel, but maybe you do. And I feel like we're connected now.
100% don't. I 100%. And if I did and I even shared that, I'd be getting a call right now. It's
James would no longer be on this show or any show. He would be off on an island somewhere. 3 points for James. Tim, tell us, what do you think is coming this week?
I have some things that I feel confident about and other things I feel less confident about. I think a mid-range AMRAP, so like 13, 14, 15 minutes, on that kind of classic time domain for CrossFit. I think we get a barbell ladder that's below parallel, so I wouldn't be surprised, like maybe some ascending load overhead squats, something like that. There's no way we don't hang off a pull-up bar, so I would put a lot of money on toes to bar or pull-ups. And yeah, I think it's just going to be a nice mixed modal CrossFit workout that is a little bit kind of right down the center for like a classic CrossFit workout. Overhead squats getting heavier, rowing, toes to bar, something like that. That would be my guess.
Okay, 3 points for Tim. Toes to bar. I did 100 today, so I hope that I'm recouped by Friday.
Recover.
I needed to do them. I have
100 GHDs. You'll be all right.
Yeah. We'll survive. And one more thing to know is we had the biggest viewing population for this last week's Open announcement. Any thoughts surrounding that before we let Tim hit the podium pedestal?
I actually didn't know that.
Yeah,
I'm surprised. It's good to hear. I mean, honestly, like I don't know what Open registrations have done this year, but yeah, I think just like seeing the Open trend back in that bigger, kind of more fired up direction, anything that points in that direction is a good thing, if you ask me. Whether it's viewership, registrations, just like, just getting people more fired up about the bigger picture of CrossFit.
Yeah.
Like I think that's it's all good news. It's all gravy.
Yeah. And I think some of the OG stuff that's been happening lately is probably pushing some of the older CrossFitters to come back and view again. Dave coming back, Dave doing his mushroom clues, like just the hype that we're building around it feels a little bit like the hype from the pre-pandemic era. And I think a lot of people in the community are missing that. So that's been fun.
Could you each feel that in your affiliates this past weekend?
Yeah, I mean, Mafia had the CrossFit Mafia, the gym I coach at. They've had the highest open sign up they've ever had. I think it's the first time they've ever been over 100 signups in the open, which I think it's there at 102, which is a pretty significant percentage of their membership too, which is really cool. A lot of people doing it for the first time, so it was wild. It was super cool.
Awesome. Okay, Tim, you won the show. Podium pedestal, 30 seconds. Topic of your choosing. Bow, 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 bow.
All right. Well, I guess I'm going to be lame and I'm just going to steal Nikki's and run with it. No, I mean, I think honestly, the retesting open workouts, have at it, man. As long as you're not going to kill yourself, you're not going to hurt yourself, you're not going to inconvenience your gym owner by asking them to open the gym at 6 a.m. on a Sunday. Retest the open workout, have at it, especially if you're looking to just advance to quarterfinals for the first time, or if you just the open's going to be the end of it. Put your best effort out there. If you learned a lesson, if you can retest your fitness, I don't see any reason why not. I would not tell that to my athletes that want to advance to semifinals or anything like that. But again, I think for most people, have fun with it. Retest the workout. Die a second time. You've earned it. It's your fitness checkup. Give it everything you got.
Tim, I have a proposal for you.
I will not retest the open workout.
If I come to Palace on Monday, will you retest with me?
Sure, why not?
Good man.
Let's go.
Why not?
Everybody
You're not
heard
gonna
it
get less
here.
fit. You might get less fit.
I mean, I'm going to do it Friday night at Friday Night Lights anyway. And then, if you come down, I'll give it a rip on Monday morning. Why the hell not?
Okay. We're going to schedule this and we're going to try to beat our scores and we'll do a fun little competition or something to hype it up. Have the whole family cheering section. I want both children there.
Oh, they'll be there Friday night for sure. Maybe Monday morning. We'll see what we can do.
Perfect. I love it. Well, Tim, James, Nikki had to run. Thank you guys as always for joining us on the show. Congratulations. We are into the open. By the time this comes out, we will be inching closer to that second announcement. 24.2 at Justin Medeiros' home garage facing off Colton Mertens. It's going to be an exciting season. Thank you as always for tuning in and watching another episode of Death By, and we'll see you guys next time.